Hey everybody, Zanavi here, and I just wanted to provide you with an update on my Cyclone Shockwave Slayer for the 3.26 expansion that just came out. Basically, yesterday I had some issues getting the character going, as I'm sure many of us were experiencing with GGG's networking problems. It took about 2.5 hours to actually get into the game and create this character, but once I was able to get in, it took about 6.5-ish hours to level through the campaign and get to maps. I did some white maps and a few yellows, and then I went to sleep for a bit. And then I did a 12-hour stream today and pretty much rushed through as much of the Atlas progression as I could, while also taking some time to answer quite a few questions from those that were watching during the live stream. This is currently where my Atlas sits at. So on stream today we knocked out the first 2 Void Stones, and had a lot of issues getting maps early on, but I just was kind of rushing through the tiers. Didn't really play around too much with the new memory strand maps because I was focused on just trying to make currency and get some stuff online. We were able to get our Stampede boots. I currently have Titanic Impacts anointed on these. It's a great multi notable here that's really nice for our build. I didn't go with Whispers of Doom yet, simply because we don't have a curse on hit ring, so I don't want to be self-casting a curse. And also this costs 3 golden oils, which is a bit more expensive, so I went with the far cheaper Titanic Impacts, which is, you know, Amber, Verdant, and Opalescent. As far as the rest of the skill tree goes, it's pretty much, there's no jewels, no cluster jewels, it's just points on the tree. What I recommended to people during the live stream was when you're in your 60s and you're getting ready to get to maps, you want to start getting some defensive nodes. So you're going to go for Whirling Barrier and Steelwood Stance. After you get that, you want to get your Fortification with this cluster here for Fortify Mastery. This gives you melee hits Fortify. And then once you have those blocks clusters and the Fortify cluster, you then can go into Disciple of the Unyielding to get your endurance charges when you're mapping. And by that point, you should be in your early 70s doing, you know, white maps. You also, once you get these block nodes simultaneously while leveling and working on what I just said, you want to anoint Enigmatic Defense on your amulet. This gives you additional attack and spell block, and you're going to spec into Versatile Combatant. If you do all of those things I mentioned, and you pick up a Rumi's Concoction, this was about 10 chaos on trade for a 12% chance to block attack damage. You want to pick up the 12% chance to block attack damage because with Versatile Combatant, we use attack block that is overcapped to scale additional spell block. So what this does is we're currently sitting at 75% overcap chance to block attack damage, which has scaled our spell block damage up to 45%. And when we use the Rumis, we now have 65 and 65 attack and spell block. This will pretty much be how we run our capped attack and spell block until down the road, when we have some investment, we get the Forbidden Flame and Flesh for More Than Skill from Gladiator, which gives us Lucky Block for attack and spell block, which will then scale it up to almost 90%. One of the things that I have done differently than the POB, and this is up to you, is I have decided to go for armor and evasion bases. And the reason why I'm aiming for that is we can roll spell suppression. So I took Iron Reflexes to convert evasion into armor. So when you take Unwavering Stance to get our stun immunity, we no longer get any benefit from evasion on our gear. However, if you take Iron Reflexes, your evasion on your gear counts as armor. So this is no longer 166 armor and 212 evasion rating, it's almost 400 armor is how the game calculates it. So what I'm planning on doing, and if this works out I might make edits to the POB later this week, is rolling an armor evasion base for our gloves, helm, and chest, and trying to get spell suppression on all 3 pieces. This way we're scaling attack block, spell block, and spell suppression. We'll throw a quartz flask into our setup, and while we won't be 100% spell suppression, it's better than nothing. Unfortunately, our boots, we can't roll, right? We use the Stampede because we're Cyclone of Tumult. but we do get the Annoint on these, which is really nice. So that's kind of what I've done with the skill tree. And yeah, what I'm going to do right now is I have a T16 here that I'm just going to demo off and show you how the new Cyclone of Tumult looks. It has a really nice AoE radius and looks pretty clean with the Illusionist Cyclone effect. So I'll go ahead and run this map, and then we'll do some final thoughts and what my plans are for tomorrow and potentially the rest of the week. So let's go in here and get started. Oh, and before we do this, let me mention my Mercenary. So because we are Iron Reflexes, we do benefit from Grace Aura and Determination Aura. Right now, I picked up this guy. He's a level 83. He's got Determination, so he's giving us some extra PDR. I think the play is to run defensive auras on our Mercenary. Now, I have seen Mercenaries with 2 auras. I believe that we can probably find a Strength Dex Mercenary that has Determination and Grace. I don't know if... I haven't seen one with 2 defensive auras yet. I've seen Grace and Haste. I've seen Grace and Malevolence. So I'm assuming potentially we could get Determination and Grace. And if that's the case and we're Iron Reflexes, we benefit from both of those auras and can really scale our physical damage reduction. The other thing I did, which is pretty popular right now, is I've got a Paracol's Toe. And this, because we're crit conversion right now, nearby allies damage with hits is lucky. So this is really nice addition, and we get this buff essentially. I think the plan would be to run defensive auras, run something like this amulet, and then we get like a strength dex based, maybe more of a melee guy, and we throw like Kingmaker on him. If we get Kingmaker, that gives us the fortification. It also gives us Cole. It's not as good as Slayer Cole, but we could consider specking out of Headsman and maybe going into the extra leech, or we could even go into Masterful Form. But I think maybe Endless Hunger could be useful, but we'd have to see. Just thoughts to play around with. So let's go ahead and start the map. So we're going to pop our Blood Rage and go in, and then we're basically going to spin to win. Our General's Cry basically goes off whenever there's corpses nearby, so when we're mapping, we don't have to worry about, you know, casting that, Desecrate for that. And unless the items are really good, I'm going to kind of skip loot right now so you can just kind of see what the mapping is like. So with Cyclone of Tumult, we have a pretty large radius on our Cyclone, and the Stampede keeps us moving at a pretty consistent speed. I currently don't have Frostblink on my setup. I would prefer to have Frostblink as a movement skill, because when I Leap Slam right now, I have to stop Cyclone. Frostblink allows us to actually keep spinning while we move, but I don't have the right coloring and sockets on my gear right now to run Frostblink, so we're currently just still using Leap Slam. And I actually had to remove faster attacks from Leap Slam just due to socket pressure right now and trying to figure out coloring on my gear. I am going to wait to do the boss because I'm currently doing destructive play for boss maps, so we want to clear a bit more of the map before we do the boss room. And I'm also running shrines right now because occasionally you get really nice buffs from them, like the movement speed one. This actually increases our speed because it's action speed, which is different than movement speed. So the shrines are really nice because if you get this movement speed one, it actually boosts our speed, which is kind of rare with Cyclone of Tumult when you're using the Stampede boots. Alright, so we've cleared enough of the map. Let's go do the boss room real quick. We're going to lay down our Desecrate, even though there's some corpses nearby anyways. And we need to trigger Maven so that she spawns the additional bosses. And then we just spin. Now, I don't have any Chaos resistance, so I gotta be a little bit careful here with the Chaos guy. There we go. Oh. And those are the maps I'm looking for. Alright. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Is I'm currently running a boss map farm tree. So the concept is you essentially go all the way up here and you grab final map boss, and each map has a chance to drop an Elder or Shaper Guardian map, and then you do destructive play. Destructive play makes it so that when you clear a map and get to the end and Maven is witnessing the map, she can spawn additional bosses, additional map bosses, and all those map bosses have this effect on them. It's a great way to farm boss maps like you just saw. You can either run these to get boss frags and work towards your 2 last void stones. What I'm currently doing is just selling them, because like this one for instance is going for 13 chaos on trade. The Cyrus one is going for 20 chaos. So it's easy money right now, and I'm just going to buy essentially the frags to run my 2 void stones sometime tomorrow. My plan going forward is tomorrow I'm going to craft a better staff. So I bought a 6-link base. Unfortunately, this is only item level 74, so I can't roll the best mods on here, but I can probably get like 650 to 700 Fizz DPS on this. I'm going to try to improve this weapon so I can keep the 6-link. Likewise, I'm going to probably pick up a 6-link armor evasion chest base, and then just craft like high life and armor on it, and evasion. So basically all we want on our chest is life and defenses. So I'm going to be looking for a high life roll and like high armor evasion and resistances. And then once I get these 2 things situated tomorrow and I knock out my last 2 void stones, I'm going to look at other gear to improve, probably my rings. I will probably want a better belt because the resistances are really low on this. But going into tomorrow, I'll have my 3rd Atlas tree unlocked, and then I'm going to decide on what my like currency farm strategy for T16s is going to be. I might continue to just do destructive play because boss maps sell really well, especially early on while everyone is still working on their void stones. I might also look at some other things based on what the community is talking about in terms of I want to generate currency going forward. My plan is essentially hopefully sometime by Wednesday next week-ish, I'd like to be at a point where I can comfortably run T17s. So we're going to have to make a really good weapon to be able to do that. So I want to start generating up a lot of currency starting tomorrow and maybe Monday, so that Tuesday I can focus on crafting a really good weapon to break through that ceiling and get into T17s. Essentially, we're going to want like a 900 plus Fizz DPS staff to comfortably have the damage we'd like to have going into T17s. And I will be streaming the whole crafting process for that, and then I can cut up and edit a video and talk about it for the actual YouTube channel. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to show off the build, what I've been able to do in the last day or so of the league. We're obviously 2 void stones in, starting to generate all our T16 maps. And yeah, the build feels really good. The buffs to Cyclone of Tumult are really nice. The radius is huge. The damage is great. It's going to be even better when I 6-link it. Yeah, and I'm pretty optimistic of what we're going to actually be able to do with the build this league. I really enjoy the mercenary mechanic. I think that they're a lot of fun. As I mentioned before, I think running 2 defensive ores, if that's possible, plus maybe 2 or 3 uniques that just boost the damage of our character, could be a really great way to actually run these guys. And if you get like a level 83 one, they're relatively tanky when you're doing just T16s. And what I'll end up doing is actually customizing like gear for them that's fully statted out with life and resistances and better armor and evasion rolls and stuff to beef them up essentially just like I would a player, just so we can get their stats better situated. You can see right now my guy has 53 lightning resistance. He's got like no chaos resistance. So essentially we're going to stat him like an actual player and boost all of his stats up, whichever mercenary I decide to use with the right skills and everything, and make them extremely tanky. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Thank you for all the support for the channel and the stream. You guys have been amazing. And yeah, I'll be streaming for the next several days and just seeing how far I can push the character. And while I'm streaming, feel free to drop by and ask any questions if you're playing the build. I'm always willing to stop and try to help you guys out. So thank you, and I will catch you all later.